Guys, Matt here from CodeTechtuts. Just wanted to do a quick video today, basically going over some coding memes, because every once in a while we just gotta have a fun video where hopefully we can laugh a little bit. So I'll do some announcements at the end. Now these are just memes that I've kind of saved over the last month or so that I enjoyed the most, basically. So full disclosure, I've seen all these before, but I'm gonna somewhat react like I never have. When you accidentally copy pasta a C++ function from Stack Overflow into your Python code. Yeah, that's right. C++ is basically a Spartan, and Python is the military walking in mud. Honestly, I don't get this. It's just funny in its context. I don't know why C++ would be the Spartan and the military guys would be Python. Because let's critically analyze this in a way that almost makes sense, but probably still doesn't. C++ is the stronger language, clearly. However, Python's easier. But, in modern times, what's going to win here in this picture? The military guys or the old Spartan? Well, the military guys would just pull out a gun and it's over. So, yeah, I think they're going to win. But in the reality, yeah, I don't know. There's probably no sense in overanalyzing it, but that's my takeaway from this one. Why you should date a programmer who understands memory management. It's the only way to fit two pizzas in there, because one would just sit in the center. Nice. Yeah, with this kind of management, you can get two pizzas in there. However, it doesn't cook as well, does it? If they're not in the center, I don't know. I'm not a cook, but I feel like the pizza's supposed to be right in the center. And these are like way off to the side, so the sides might cook differently. I don't know, maybe it'll be fine. You guys tell me. Also, you could just put another rack in there and just put them on different racks. So there's that. You don't want to die with unfinished business. You'll be doomed to walk the earth as a ghost. Let me be clear. Leave nothing unfinished, programmers. Yeah, don't look at my GitHub. Everything there's perfectly finished. I don't leave any unfinished things up there. And same with my series on this channel. Alright, programmers 30 years ago. I program in C because I understand how computers flip and work. And look at that buff Doge. Programmers today. Please, I need 8 gigabytes of RAM and octa-core to run my Python program smoothly. 8 gigs. 32 gigs. You need 32 gigs to do that. There's some truth to this. Like, clearly it's a meme, but I feel like back in the day, if you were a programmer, you really had to understand how things work. You couldn't just freely throw things around and instantiate all kinds of stuff just because you needed to get it to work. That was a sentence. But nowadays you can't. Back in the day, you would run out of memory, so it's you would get the lecture like, hey, you can't do this because this uses a couple bytes too much. Pretty interesting. You can always force yourself into that scenario if you really want to learn it that badly. I don't know, maybe that'd be a good experiment. I tried making my program on some really old computer video. Would you guys watch that? Joining our programmer humor as a beginner dev. Oh, look at the excitement. Not understanding half the jokes. That's what you guys got me for. To explain the jokes to you. Getting the job. Seeing the code. It's kind of true. Like code isn't as pretty as you imagine it to be. Like you see an end product and the end product looks nice and it does what it's supposed to usually. And then you see the code and you see all these comments and questions and like, well, should we do it this way or should we do it this way? I don't know why this works and stuff like that. And it's like, oh, wow. Yeah, that's how it is. Don't be too surprised. That's why they hired you to fix it, hopefully. Okay, this is a motivational post. This is not a programming meme. So sometimes I save these if I really like these and they click with me well. Your competition isn't other people. Your competition is your procrastination, your ego, your lack of focus, the unhealthy food you're consuming, the knowledge you neglect, the negative behavior that you're nurturing. So true. See, I related to this so hard. Like it's really easy to look at someone else you know in your life and be like, "Oh, they're doing great. Why am I not doing great?" or something like that. But that's not even fair. Not to yourself, not to them, not to anyone. It's a lot to explain and unpack. I feel like this is pretty true. You basically just need to like understand that you feel that way because you can't change the way or you can't change the feelings that came to you, they've already come to you, they're coming from your mind. So you basically, as Dr. K would say, cultivate better karma, basically. So act better, do better things, look inward, ask yourself why you're having these thoughts, and that sort of thing, and just try to work on things. So I've been doing that recently. I've been trying to do pretty much all of these. So I started running for the first time in a long time, and oh my, I was so exhausted when I started running. Anyway, I don't want to make this all about me. I just want to say that you know, if there's anyone else out there that's like struggling with this sort of thing, just one little thing at a time. Try and cultivate better karma. Don't do the terrible things that you regret later, or try not to. Notice that you want to do them, but instead of doing them, just notice it, and that sort of thing. And I'm no psychologist or whatever, but I listen a lot and sometimes read. Finally managed to quit Vim. The solution. Just smash the freaking computer. Oh my gosh. I think there's a misconception here. Vim Vim is like touted as the awesome little lightweight text editor or whatever that runs in your command line. And people claim to love it and that it's great, but the reality is it doesn't work very well. And I've seen it time and time again. Every time I try to use it, it crashes. I lose data. I get frustrated and I basically have to like quit. And I regret ever launching Vim every time. And then I go back to it again after seeing stuff on the internet about how much people love it. It doesn't work right. I'm sorry. I wish it did too. We all do. Like I was watching this streamer one day, Strager, I think his name is. He teaches like coding, does code advice and stuff, and he seems to know quite a bit. And so I just, I tuned in for a minute. I know it's a random side story, but it's about Vim. I was just lurking. I wasn't asking anything. I was just kind of checking things out. And he said someone asked like, why did you decide to do streaming or something and teach code? And he basically said, because I noticed I was way smarter than everyone. And I was like, wow, that's really pretentious. But okay, whatever. Let's keep watching for a bit. And a couple minutes later, he was doing something in Vim, and Vim crashed on him. Oops, spoilers. And Vim crashed on him. I was just thinking, you're still using Vim. You're not that smart. The four horsemen of procrastination: napping, snacks, social media, minor chores. Oh my. Napping, snacks, and social media. I feel like the only one of these that is actually the procrastination is the social media. At least to me. If I'm napping, I don't feel bad because like I'm tired. You don't try to like do hard work when you're tired. You go take a nap. So I don't feel bad about that one. About the snacks, iffy about snacks. If you're eating healthy snacks, then I don't really feel bad. But if I'm going and like eating a bunch of Snickers and candy bars or whatever, yeah, that's pretty bad. And you're probably gonna mess up your mindset. I don't know. I haven't done deep studies on how my mind works or whatever, but yeah, I think snacks only if they're unhealthy. Social media. This one's even iffy too. Like, yeah, to some extent it's bad. I feel like if you're going to look at stuff that's totally unrelated to what you're working on, yeah, that can be bad, but at the same time, there's nothing wrong with like keeping up with your family a little bit and letting people know how you're doing and things like that. And like, I think social media is really touted as something that's like evil and awful. And I think it's just a wrong perception of it. I feel like if you feel that way, then maybe you should check your circle a little bit because if you're being exposed to terrible stuff, who's exposing you to the terrible stuff? That's more of the problem than the social media itself. Social media is just like YouTube, what you're watching here. It's just people posting stuff, and if you don't like it, you watch something else or something. So I hope that makes sense, but I feel like there's a lot of misconceptions here. And minor chores, I have a lot of minor chores that I probably should be doing, and I would feel really great if I did them. And I would probably get more work done after doing them because they'd be off my mind. So I don't know if this is intended to be contradictory or what. Oh, no, usually when people say like social media and snacks, they seriously mean it's procrastination. But I just feel like this isn't very accurate actually when you really drill down. There's underlying things. There's underlying things that are not really these four things. So I don't know. What do you guys think about this? Someone's is even code. If numbers equals one, return false. Else if one, return false. Else if two, return true. Oh my god, it just goes on and on. What? This is crazy. I don't know if this is a joke or what. Oh wait, and he has it index.js. His latest update is 1 million. Did he do this all the way to 1 million? That's nuts if he did. Totally crazy. This has got to be a joke. There's 25 pull requests. He has a subscriber thing for YouTube and he's over 100K. There's no way a coder gets over 100K and still codes like this. It's a joke. It's got to be a joke. 1 minute you're coding and vibing to a particular music. Next minute you're debugging. The same music is causing headache. Yeah, debugging can be a bit painful. Speaking of, I went through a lot of debugging yesterday online on stream, and I found some really nice music for it. Like, I don't know, it was like some Studio Ghibli playlist, and it was beautiful. It was beautiful for debugging. I was just like, I was vibing to the debugging, and we fixed it. Software engineer's dream, seen by a software engineer. Okay, I feel like there's a misconception here too. Maybe I'm just way different than people, but I do laugh at these because I think they're funny. But when I think about them more, I realize that they're not even correct anyway. Like, this is a really nice area, but if you go here and like boot up your laptop and try to work, you're gonna get so much screen glare from the sun you won't even be able to tell what you're doing. So you literally can't work here anyway. And then if you try to do it at night when the sun's down, you're just going to get swarmed by mosquitoes and stuff. This is not the dream. I know it looks nice and looks like the dream, but you don't want to be on your computer in this situation. You want to be like hiking or swimming or, doing something. So I'm not sure why people think going out in the sun and coding is a good idea because you basically just can't see your screen. I've managed to go code in a nice shady area, and that was all right for a little bit, but then the benches you end up sitting on are not very comfortable, so you can't sit there long enough to actually get a whole lot done. So giant misconception. Or maybe they go in their cabin or whatever and do it, but that's not what the picture shows. So I'm always confused by these because I just think there's no way. I've tried this. I've tried to go work in these scenarios. You can't really actually do it. Software engineer's dream seen by the HR manager. Just put him in a little cube. Look how that looks so uncomfortable. To sit on that little stool, you could probably only sit there for like 10 minutes, or at least I probably could only sit there for 10 minutes before it got uncomfortable. So what are these cubes actually for? Are they just silent cubes? I know people are like really hating on these, and yeah, I think they're not great, but if you have a personal phone call where you don't want people listening in because maybe you're talking about some personal matters, I think these are fine. You just go in there and have your personal call and no one can listen to all your personal stuff. Well, I don't think there's anything wrong with that, but beyond that, I don't know. If you're going in there to like do anything else, I can't imagine any other scenario, honestly, that you would want to go in there. If you really can't stand the noise of other people, you're probably really irritable. Other underlying issues. At least that's what it is in my experience. Okay, this is another one that kind of hit home for me recently that I've been struggling with, not related to code really. Just because they're in your circle doesn't mean they're in your corner. A lot of people will just kind of jump onto what you're doing or into your circle just because I don't know, they want something basically, which to some extent is fine. Like they want to be liked, which just is fine, I guess. Or they want to, I don't know. I don't know what people want really. They don't often say, at least not to me. Or if they do, it's often just a demand of something they want me to do. So I'd kind of ignore those because, yeah, that's not how I work. Doesn't mean they're in your corner. Yeah, see, this really hit home for me because, like, when I started streaming and telling my real life friends, like, so few of them actually came and supported me that it was like, ooh, that hurts. Yeah, I don't want to expand on that too much. I made a video on my personal channel about that, which is just my uh, real name. Maybe I'll leave a link down below. I don't know if I really want to advertise it actually, so I probably won't. But I made a video about that topic. There's a lot of people in your circle who are very envious of you for their own personal problems that has nothing to do with you. And it's It's kind of awkward. If you feel that way, I would encourage you to seek help and understanding and try to overcome that, because it's a really unhealthy way to look at things. You should definitely support people in your circle when they're trying new things and taking risks to better themselves and stuff. It really means a lot more than you would think. Because I've kind of been on this journey for a long time, and it really surprised me how few people were like encouraging it all, and also kind of surprised me how many of them. Well, nah, let's just move on. I think that's the last one. Yeah, that's all I got for you guys today. I just wanted to have a little fun, share some thoughts and that sort of stuff. So don't forget to hit all the buttons and the bell if you want to see the next videos. Yeah, I said I'd do some announcements, so I guess I'll do that. The Patreon's back up and running, and we're doing the member shoutouts every video. I know there's also the YouTube member stuff, and it's kind of confusing because they're both, but I'm going to include them both. So if you join on YouTube or on Patreon, you're going to get shoutouts and production credits and all that. And yeah, there's a couple special things on both sides, so I want to do what's right by the people who are showing me support, because it means a lot more than you guys probably know. It means a lot to me. I'm sure there's more. I don't know, I guess just stay tuned. I guess that's the big one, really, is just that I'm paying a lot more attention to the Patreon and posting a lot of updates and explanations about things over there, because I think that's the least I could do, really. And yeah, you know, when I said last month that I was like changing some things and shifting some things around, some people left. I don't think they really understood or had some expectations that they were gonna. There was this expectation that if you joined Patreon, you'd be able to tell me exactly what to do, and I'd do it, like I was some kind of less than minimum wage slave or something. And I decided that for my own mental health, that was not a good model to stick with. It's not that I won't listen. I read everything. I listen to everything, but I'm gonna follow what's you know, my own heart and drive and all that stuff, rather than other people's, because I'm me and that's what I should do. Hope that makes sense. All right, we'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.